In the world of mobile phones, there are two alternatives competing for technological supremacy. Which one will win? It's time to witness this duel. iPhone versus Samsung. Story of a rivalry. Apple and Samsung are two of the biggest companies in the world. Apple is an American company founded in 1976 that has sold computers since forever. The first Apple computer was the Apple I. In 1984, it first launched the Macintosh, commonly known as Mac, and 5 years later, the first portable Macintosh came to light. In 1983, Apple was already manufacturing a touchscreen cell phone, but it didn't go on sale for unknown reasons. In 2005, it teamed up with Motorola to create the Motorola ROKR with Motorola hardware and Apple software. In 2007, Apple finally entered fully into the telephone world with the iPhone. On the other hand, Samsung was founded in 1938 as a grocery store when South Korea was still a colony. After the war, it expanded the business into textile manufacturing. During the 1970s, Samsung began investing in heavy industry. It even opened a shipbuilding division. By the 1990s, it was producing LCD televisions and computer monitors. In 1988, its first cell phone went on sale, and in 2009, it released the Galaxy, which quickly became a star product. For more controversy, Apple sued Samsung for having infringed iPhone patents in the manufacture of the new Galaxy. At the trial, Samsung was found guilty and condemned to pay $538 million. Currently, the Galaxy competes equally with the iPhone. Which company has the best mobile phone? Battle of processors. It's surprising, yet true. Since the early days of the iPhone, Apple has designed its own processors but outsources manufacturing from Samsung Industries. What's more, when Taiwan's TSMC also started making iPhone chips at the same time that Samsung, the Korean company, showed that it did better. Samsung made 14nm chips, whereas the chips of TSMC weren't able to get to be that small. As for the Galaxy, it uses two processors, the Exynos made by Samsung itself and the Snapdragon made by Qualcomm. Who has better chips, Apple or Samsung? In this regard, the iPhone is superior because its processors are usually somewhat faster. Battle of tech specs. Let's start out with RAM. There's usually less RAM in Apple than in Samsung. For example, the Galaxy Note 10 Plus usually comes with 12GB RAM, whereas most iPhones have 6. But the iPhone system manages memory better, so it requires less capacity to achieve the same results. In terms of storage capacity, both models also have equivalent developments. The iPhone goes up to 64GB, 128GB, 215GB, and 256GB, the same as the Galaxy. However, the great advantage of the Galaxy is that it has a tray slot to insert a memory card so you can get more space, something that's impossible with the iPhone. If you want more storage, you'll have to pay for it. The next topic is the battery. Here, the winner is the Galaxy, whose battery generally offers more autonomy than Apple's. In terms of design, iPhones have the same rectangular design with rounded corners that only varies in color and size, whereas Galaxy phones usually come in different shapes, and now more folding smartphones are being made. Regarding water resistance, iPhones are known to come with the IP68 certification. That is, they're resistant to water and dust, whereas only a few Galaxy phones have this feature. Battle of screens. Here I'll start out by saying that Galaxy phones are way thinner, therefore more fragile and easier to break. In this regard, the iPhone is committed to durability. Besides, starting with the iOS 15, Apple screens are typically displayed between 10 and 120 times per second. They increase the refresh rate when higher graphics performance is required and decrease it when not needed to save power for a better user experience. When it comes to image quality, Samsung uses high-end AMOLED screens, whereas all iPhones, including the latest models such as the iPhone 13, use OLED screens. Both OLED and AMOLED screens have light-emitting diodes per pixel, but AMOLED screens have two sub-pixel structures, one standard RGB and one RGBG pentile, in which, apart from the basic colors, there are two shades of green. That's why it emits more vivid colors. For this reason, the screens of the high-end Galaxy are superior to those of the iPhone, and their more intense colors stand out. Battle of cameras. For many, the most important thing when buying a cell phone. Between 2010 and 2012, the iPhone's camera was noticeably superior to the Galaxy's. But the situation begins to turn around in 2014 when the Galaxy S5 finally gets a more powerful camera than that of the iPhone 6. Little by little, Samsung's cameras were gaining ground, and by 2017, the camera of the Galaxy S8 Plus was already considered to be superior by many. Others even pointed out that while Samsung had vastly improved its camera with more lenses and zoom, the iPhone had a much more sensitive sensor. However, the Galaxy seems to have taken the lead in the field of sensors. In 2020, the Galaxy S20 Ultra started using a 108-megapixel camera sensor, 194% larger than that of the Galaxy S10 Plus that had been launched just a year earlier. For many experts, the supremacy of Samsung is evident. Have you tried both cameras? Which one do you think is superior? Battle of operating systems. What is really behind the iPhone versus Galaxy is the confrontation between their operating systems. While iOS belongs to the iPhone, Android can display the maximum of its capabilities in the Galaxy. One of Android's strengths is that it's an open-source operating system. That is, anyone can access the source code and modify the software, which is why it has a wide variety of free apps. While Android has 3 million free apps, iOS has only 2 million. Android runs on a wide variety of cell phone brands, so the user doesn't have to stick to a single model. Among the weak points of Android are the low-quality apps and greater vulnerability to hacker attacks. Among the advantages of the iPhone is the better system performance that makes the mobile phone work using less RAM and fewer cores. Another plus is that it's safer from hackers. The apps on the App Store are more monitored, syncing cloud storage is easier, and the software constantly updates. 70% of iPhones are running the latest version. Among Android phones, this is only 1%. The disadvantages of iOS are the few customization options and high price, a topic that we're going to discuss next. Battle of prices. iPhones are usually more expensive than Galaxy phones because they're not low-end models. At most, you can find those models without the Pro or Pro Max appendage. However, Samsung does have high, medium, and low-end models, so it's affordable. But not everything is so bad. When Apple launches new models, it usually lowers the price of previous models that, although they're becoming obsolete, their quality makes them less obsolete than Galaxy phones. If you don't like to change your phone all the time, maybe an iPhone is the one for you. Another controversial topic is that Apple can't allow its mobile phones to have lower prices than the competition so as not to lose one of its most important characteristics: exclusivity. For the bitten Apple, high prices are part of the marketing, although sometimes you feel like you're left with a bitter taste of scam. Since 2020, for example, iPhones no longer include power adapters, and the company says that this is to reduce the carbon footprint. Without power adapters, the boxes are smaller and more iPhones are shipped in a single shipment. All this at the expense of users who must buy a power adapter separately while the company saves on cardboard and fuel. The final battle. Let's compare the most recent models of each company. The iPhone 13 Pro Max versus Galaxy S22 Ultra. In terms of size, it must be said that both have the same thickness, but the Galaxy is a little bigger than the iPhone. Regarding security features, both have facial recognition, but only the Galaxy S22 has a fingerprint sensor that's also on the same screen. Let's talk about the front camera. The Galaxy has a small hole on the screen, whereas the iPhone keeps its quadrangular notch that, although it's smaller than those of previous versions, many have already questioned its practicality. Both mobile phones have a rating of IP68, that is, water and dust resistance. As for tech specs, the Galaxy comes with 8GB or 12GB RAM, whereas the iPhone only comes with 6GB, but, as we already said, the latter manages them better. In storage, they're tied. There are devices with 128GB, 256GB, 512GB, and 1TB, but Samsung's model has a tray slot for a memory card. It's in the camera where the Galaxy takes the most advantage. Its main camera has a somewhat better resolution than that of the iPhone, and the selfie camera is better with 40 megapixels, whereas the iPhone only has 12. Also, with the Galaxy, you can zoom in better. To be continued. Neither Apple nor Samsung will stand still. Some details have already emerged, such as Apple considering including a fingerprint sensor on the iPhone screen, just as the Galaxy S22 has. It's possible that they get rid of the notch and leave only 2 holes on the screen, one for the front camera and one for the facial recognition. There are 2 controversial issues. The first is that it seems that only the Pro versions of the next iPhone will come with the A16 processor, whereas the rest will continue to use the A15. The other is that perhaps the SIM card tray will disappear and there will only be an eSIM, something that's not available to all cell phone providers, especially in poor countries. The iPhone's camera will increase its megapixels to 48, but it has clearly lost the battle of cameras. The next Galaxy is said to have a 200-megapixel camera, and all this to compete against the Super Motorola and Xiaomi cameras. It's very hard to choose a winner because both alternatives are even. Which one would you get? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the next video.